Yo.
Hey, Joey.
How's it going?
Joey.
Welcome back to the pod, dude.
Welcome back. Round two.
Thanks for having me. Andrea should be on his way.
Cool.
How's everyone doing?
We're living La Vida
Pretty
Loca.
good. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Did I see a Rage Against the Machine t-shirt?
Well, kind of.
What is yours?
It says Rage Against the Machine, but it's a picture of Bernie Sanders.
Nice.
What are your figures in the background there, Joey?
Okay, so over here, these are just old Star Wars, like Power of the Force era.
Yeah. Oh,
And these are a bunch of wrestling toys.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And then in front of me, there's a shitload of like turtles and Batman and whatever.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
We had a friend visiting the other day who came into my office and was like, "Oh my God, I could never work in here. Too much happening. It's too loud." And I was like, I'm at peace in here.
I like it.
Hey, Andrea.
Andrea,
Hey.
welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Comics and Chronic. Today we have a returning guest, Joey Esposito, but he brought along Andrea Schiavone. They have a comic out right now called Shitkickers. You could find it on Zoop. There's 2 issues out right now that you could buy and back. And we're here to talk about it. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
On Zoop?
Zoop. Isn't that fun to
Zoop?
say?
Yeah, it is fun. What is it? I'm not familiar with it.
Zoop is it's like Kickstarter, except it's specifically indie comics.
Nice.
So it's run by some great folks, and they work with creators to get their comics funded, and they help out a lot with like the management of it all. Because if anyone's run a Kickstarter, I mean, Tony, you're about to, it's like a lot of minutia and details. It's like, on top of everyone else's day jobs and creative work, it's just like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm built to be a marketer and all that stuff too, so they help a lot with that.
So you think it's a good alternative to Kickstarter?
Yeah, it definitely has a different sort of reach, I think. But I can't understate how valuable it is to me to like have help with the fulfillment and dealing with the vendors and all that stuff. So that's really why I'm into Zoop right now.
Nice.
Do they have anything to do with Soup Dad Comics?
So Soup Dad is my like vanity imprint for myself.
Nice.
Which I've used for quite a while, but this Shitkickers is kind of almost like a relaunch, at least in terms of my own internal mythology, there was never really like anything cohesive about it. It was just sort of a label that I put on the stuff that I self-published. But now I feel like Shitkickers representing sort of the new iteration of that. And it's really about what I've learned from doing the Pedestrian with Sean, which was just like doing our own thing, regardless of like rejections that we receive or anything like that, like believing in your vision and just fucking doing it instead of like, well, I did the pitch and no one bought it, and so that's dead forever. That's what Soup Dad is hopefully going to represent for me.
Nice.
I like that.
It's a very long answer to a very simple question, and I apologize.
No, I love, as a father who also loves soup, I was instantly hooked.
Yeah.
Andrea, are you in Italy? Is this correct?
Yeah, I am.
Making that up? Nice.
I am in Italy.
Where in Italy?
Actually, in the south. I live in a small town, really, but I'm near a town called Lecce, which I don't think it's very famous outside and in the US specifically. But it's a nice place. It's nice to be here.
Nice. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Andrea, I was a big fan of the artwork in Shitkickers. It was great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really like your
Thank you.
style.
Do you? How many forays into comics have you had prior to Shitkickers?
Well, Shitkickers actually was at the time my very first miniseries, actually. So it was the first time I tried my hand at doing something that was a bit longer, if you will, as opposed to what I had been doing at the time. Now, we started Shitkickers back in 2021, so at the height really of the pandemic here, and as you guys were actually getting locked down.
Yeah.
It was really, I was an untested artist actually, and Joey really put a lot of trust in me to give me this chance to work in the series. prior to that, I had done, as I said, a couple of anthologies, really. And I've been doing anthology work ever since, too, while I'm also working on another series, which you guys might have heard about, which is Gangster versus Nazis, which is being funded on Kickstarter, actually. And
That's a great name.
yeah, it's a cool book. It's a cool book to be on. I won't spoil anything, but it's not as simple as the title would suggest. And I mean, I'm seeing your libraries behind you, so I have a feeling that you would like that one too. It's actually written by Matt Garvey, who is I think he is a niche writer in a way, but it's pretty famous in the Twitter and social media realm. And yeah, that's the my second series ever that I've ever been on.
Oh.
So Shitkickers is my first, and I treasured whatever I learned from Shitkickers and put into this other book.
But isn't that insane? Isn't it so good?
That's
Seriously,
crazy for a first.
Yeah.
Yeah, your art is amazing.
And he, like, I can see him shriveling as I rain compliments down upon him. But it's just everyone who looks at this book is just like, dude, the art. And I'm like, dude, I know.
Yeah. It has so much energy, so much attitude. I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Me too.
How did you guys like link up? How did you guys hear of one another? Or Joey, did you reach out to Andrea?
I think that I was looking for an artist just, on Twitter or whatever at the time, and he had sent his stuff in, and it was obviously like blown away. And I think you had worked with Jeff McClelland already at that point,
Yeah.
who is a comics buddy that I know, and it came highly recommended from Jeff. And so we had sort of a mutual connection, and just seeing his work, I just knew he was a perfect fit for what I wanted to do in Shitkickers.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it complements the story and characters really well.
Thank
what
you.
what I really thought was cool, I mean, like hot off of the Pedestrian, it's such a different comic, and I like seeing writers especially do completely different things from project to project.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's one type of energy that do you feel like Shitkickers is more like a Joey Esposito vibe, or is the Pedestrian that for you?
I honestly, I hope, like, if there is a Joey Esposito vibe, I hope it's just like just interesting and like maybe unique, like I don't want to, I guess this comes from like when I was in film school, and just like everyone sort of had their like, I want to be Jim Jarmusch, or I want to be Wes Anderson or whatever. And I was just always kind of like, I want to be like myself, I guess, and just trying to like always do different stuff, whether it's just for challenging myself. Like Shitkickers, for example, I think sort of originated because a comic writer friend, I don't know, we were like commiserating about not getting work and blah, 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 whatever. And he said something along the lines of, my writing is too sincere or too sentimental, which like is true, but also like pissed me off a little bit. And so I was like, all right, well, fuck you then. I'm going to write something without any of that. And that's like sort of the origins of Shitkickers, just like crude humor and just like no real emotionality in the sense of like the emotionality in the Pedestrian, for example, just like kind of like cynical and a little bit more, and of course, as the series evolved, I did sort of bring my usual bullshit to it. So it's not as like cold as I had intended, but yeah. So I guess if there is anything talking that through, it's that I just can't avoid being like sentimental. I guess that's my through line, regardless of the genre.
I like that a lot. There's even, I mean, like the way I caught glimpses of that in this, like there were funny moments too, but like when Jax's comics were like in danger, like, everything's on fire around him, but he's sitting there to make sure. And like, you see my room behind me, like I've had those thoughts too. Like, what the fuck am I taking out of this? But like it felt so real, so sincere, like in like a true love of comics that like I've had that real thought,
Yeah, exactly. Good. Well, that makes me happy to hear that.
I have a question, Andrea. your background with the lasers, is it coming out of a little Martian man?
Yeah, I mean, my whole style is actually influenced by cartoons. I'm a big cartoon lover, so yeah, probably.
I think he was mentioning like your little alien light bulb guy.
Oh, the light bulb guy,
but the actual green lasers. The green
the green
dots.
lasers behind me. No, I mean, I thought I would spruce it up a bit. My background for the series. I mean, really.
No, but I would love to hear more about that. Like, what animation
cartoons?
Influenced you?
Oh, okay. It's a bit of a tangent, really. So bear with me.
No, go ahead.
Seeing as Shitkickers is actually a creator-owned comics that we're actually self-publishing. I've had the chance throughout the 4 years that we've been working on with Joey to really get in touch with myself and to really nail down and hammer down whatever it is I was looking for. So the magic sauce, the secret behind my art. And it all came back to old-time cartoons. I mean, I'm a 90s kid at heart. So I really had the chance to go back and revisit whatever cartoon I would watch as a kid and as a teen, really, or whatever cartoon I hadn't watched as a teen. And I finally had the chance and the money to go back, buy those, and finally check them out.
Nice.
So... it comes to no surprise probably to say that, mostly the DCAU. So really Batman the Animated Series,
Nice.
Batman Beyond specifically, which I love. And Batman Beyond in particular is probably behind the inspiration of some of the things that I've done with Shitkickers and even my approach to Dylan and Skiz's design. So the quantity of black that I have in my designs nowadays really are informed by Glenn Murakami and his work throughout the DCAU and while working with Pedestrian. Then there's really too many cartoons to even enumerate, if you will. But I mean, right now I'm on a Powerpuff Girls band. I'm really going all out on the Powerpuff Girls because I just love the work of that guy and it's just so friggin' cool and energetic. And Ben 10, I mean, the OG series for Ben 10 and even Omniverse, which I really, really loved. Those are all series that I've tried to steal some things here and there, and I've really tried to mix and match with my comic passion and my comic heroes, really. So Darwyn Cooke, for example, again, coming back to the animated roots of it. And I mean, your usual suspects. So Mike Mignola, Alex Toth, Chris Samney, a bit of those guys who, in a way, are in turn inspired also by animation, maybe more recent animations, so like the ones I've actually had the chance to watch myself as a kid, or more old school animation, as it was the case for Alex Toth and his designs for Hanna-Barbera.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely has a Hanna-Barbera feel, but it's cool now that you said Batman Beyond is a big inspiration. I could tell by the way you drew the cities and Shitkickers. It definitely has that futuristic Gotham feel that Batman Beyond took place in.
Joey actually is responsible for that in a way by way of his logline for the series. So he really told me, okay, this is a mix between Starship Troopers and Green Lantern, but Starship Troopers really struck with me. So I am a big fan. I am a big fan of Paul Verhoeven's work, and especially his unofficial trilogy. So RoboCop, Starship Troopers, and Total Recall. And you can't help but associate cosmic, futuristic fascism, if you will, with brutalism.
Yeah.
And I sort of found that in Batman Beyond as well. So all these things kind of got together, got mixed up, and Shitkickers is what came out of it, really. So my approach to the cityscapes, my approach to spaceships, even the suckiest spaceships in the galaxy, they all have a basis in brutalism. And even Kiz's ship is actually a pursed up and pimped up garbage truck, if you will, literally. So, I mean, the idea, it's all the origin of it, the inspiration for it is all there, really.
Dude, I could listen to you talk about this shit all day. I'm having such a good time.
You know me full well. You know how much I overthink stuff. So of course I can actually justify every single bit and piece of the shit.
Yeah, but that's why I love working with you, because even on I just handed him the script, the last script for issue 6, and we're gonna talk about it after we do this pod. But like even the notes that he sent back, I'm just like, they had this fight and this is what they're doing. And he's like, yeah, but like, why did they do it this way? And just that sort of like attention to sort of internal logic is something that I really appreciate about working with you, because it's just like, it helps me think of the story from different perspectives. I just think, I don't know, it's just been a blast. And to hear you like break that down, I feel like is really enlightening for me, because I also didn't necessarily see that Batman Beyond connection. But now that you say it, it's like, oh, duh, that's why it looks so good. It's like, of course. But to hear like the substance behind it too, I think is really fascinating. And this is my own book, so.
That's awesome.
Well, also I remember like as soon as I opened the first page, it was like I could see you mentioned the like early 2000s Cartoon Network, and I could see that in like the character design, especially for Jax. It just like reminded me of that. And it wasn't until you were describing that, because I was like, what is this reminding me of? I'm trying to put my finger on it. And as soon as you said it, I said, oh, boom.
Well, I just give up my trade secrets. Okay, I might as well retire at this point.
So it seems like a connection you made was on Green Lantern. I'm assuming you guys are fans. So on this, we've only talked
Green Lantern Funko,
and I see the Green Lantern behind. Yeah.
It's not a Funko; it's a plush.
Oh,
How dare you?
I stand corrected.
But on the podcast, like we've only really talked about the Sinestro Corps War, which is like a more modern run. It's a great one. But Cody hasn't read too much Green Lantern. Me and Jake have read some more. Is there a Green Lantern run you guys would recommend?
I've been rereading the Ron Mars, Daryl Banks, like the original Kyle Rayner stuff.
Oh yeah,
in the '90s. It's fucking great.
I like that run.
And I also I don't think I've read it since when it was coming out, and there's so many like Jimmy Olsen shows up at one point. He's got a 9 Inch Nails shirt on, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome.
That's a great run.
I've been rereading Blackest Night lately. I got an entire omnibus of it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big Green Lantern fan. Kyle Rayner is actually what got me into it in the early 2000s. That's when I started reading Green Lantern, and then I kind of...
Oh, cool. Was that when I think Joe Winnick was writing the early 2000s?
I would have to go back and look at the actual issues. But that's what got me into Green Lantern, and then I kind of explored Hal Jordan and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah, see, my experience, I always just kept from the Justice League animated series. If there was a Green Lantern I attached to, it was John Stewart.
Nice.
Stewart, yeah. It's a great Green Lantern. Andrea, what were you going to say?
I was just going to tease you guys. Of course, we're going to agree that Hal Jordan is the best Green Lantern out there, right?
I agree. I'm a big Hal Jordan fan, to be honest.
Great. We're going to be fast friends.
Don't mind Anthony and Cody's opinion. I could tell from their silence they don't agree.
Like I said, I'm more familiar with... I've only read Sinestro Corps War.
Yeah.
And I've read a little bit of Blackest Night, but not enough to I didn't even finish the series.
Sorry, I was just going to interrupt to say we didn't mention New Frontier, which I think is maybe the best Green Lantern story. And if you haven't read that in terms of Hal Jordan, I would highly recommend it.
New Frontier. Nice. Also, the Green Lantern Earth 1 comics are pretty good.
They are.
I don't know if I read those.
They came out
Gabriel Hardman.
Yeah,
like 2 years ago they came out.
No, longer than that, Jake. At this point,
longer. Well, maybe I read them 2 years ago. But I just like it. It's a really cool take on Green Lantern.
Yeah, the only sad thing is that they never finished the story.
I know, seriously. I was waiting for volume 3 to come out.
I don't know if that's ever gonna come out at this point.
I don't think so. I think you're right. That's kind of disappointing.
One other series I might recommend. Actually, I've got two. Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. the Green Lantern, actually, which I, as a European, I actually love. It's got this surrealism to it, which is to be expected from Grant Morrison, but also from the art department. So it's Liam Sharp and Xermanico for a few issues, I believe 3 issues maybe. It got a bit experimental, especially in the second season and the final issues, so it kind of lost me too. But the start, the very first volume is incredible. It's an incredible character study for Hal Jordan.
Actually, that Intergalactic Lawman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
I like
that's
that
the
one. That one was cool.
I mean, I wouldn't even call your regular character study, because Hal Jordan is just an institution at that point. So the way Morrison writes him is perfect. He's seen it all, done it all. So he just swoops in, throws a giant green fist and saves the day. But it's the galaxy around him that's really filled to the brim with characters and situations and aliens and all. And really, it sort of reminds you, I mean, it's Stu Breed's really doing it. So it reminds you very much of 2000 AD or the heavy metal comics. So it's very out there. It's very science fiction. It's not so much a superhero comic as it is a science fiction comic. And I mean, I really, really loved it. And on the same kind of vibe, Far Sector. That's another series that's really, really cool. It's drawn by Jamal Campbell, and I can't remember the name of the writer, but she's a novelist. She's a science fiction novelist.
N.K. Jemisin, I believe.
N.K. Jemisin, yeah.
Yeah. That's her. And I really love that one. I mean, it's experimental. It's just a single Green Lantern who's new on the job, and she's on the far reaches of the galaxy, really, in a sector that's not usually the Green Lantern beat. So she's alone. She's got this ring that doesn't need really to be recharged. And she's not as powerful as other lanterns because her ring functions in a very different way. But she has 1 year to solve an impossible murder on this faraway planet. And she's on her own, really, in a society that's completely alien to her. She's a human. She's an ex-cop, if I recall correctly. And she just has to solve this while getting adjusted to a completely alien kind of environment, really, with 3 different races, actually, living on the same planet, but being completely different from each other. So it's a truce that's been going on for centuries, but it's very, very, it's really on the brink of collapse. And she's the only thing that's stopping the chaos. That one too, it's a bit more experimental. I mean, I'm a European. I like that kind of shit. So, but really, if we're talking about Green Lantern, I would go with those. So, New Frontier, absolutely, because I can never get enough of Darwyn Cooke. And Hal Jordan specifically in that story, while not the main character, if you will, just is spectacularly written. Then again, Grant Morrison's Green Lantern, maybe not for everybody's taste, but still a great story, especially in its initial issues. And Far Sector, which is a bit more modern, a bit more of a, it's not storytelling, it's just a bit more contemporary, if you will. But yeah, it's a great one. I really loved it.
Nice.
Got some good ones to check out.
Those are great answers. I'm definitely going to look into them.
Andrea, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I have a Darwyn Cooke tattoo. I didn't realize it. I do, yeah.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it? Where and what is it?
It's a Darwyn Cooke. Here, it's just this little Darwyn Cooke.
Of course, it's a
Catwoman profile.
Nice.
But you know, he is someone that I adore. He's incredible. But the tattoo specifically was also because my first DC story was a Catwoman story, and we did a signing at a friend's comic shop in California. And then on Free Comic Book Day that year, they had like cheap flash tattoos from one of the local tattoo places. So I got a Catwoman tattoo in the comic shop where I signed my first like DC work. So
fuck yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love Darwyn Cooke. Have you ever read his Parker?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's so cool. So good.
So cool.
It really, I was blown away.
I just saw they're doing so the guy who was doing the artist editions at IDW, I guess, is doing his own imprint for those kind of books, those like giant sort of like art collector books, and they're releasing through Skybound, and they're doing one of Darwyn's Spirit series that he did in like the late 2000s at DC. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Nice.
I didn't even know he did a Spirit. I would totally buy that.
Yeah, there's like 2 years of it, I think, at least 24 issues maybe. It's awesome.
Plus a Spirit Batman crossover.
Oh, really?
That's right.
That's going to be included. Will Eisner's The Spirit.
Written by Jeff Loeb, I think.
I don't remember really.
I feel like there was that point in the late 2000s where DC had like Doc Savage and stuff, and they were doing those like crossovers, and I think, what did they call it? First Wave. That's what it was.
That's it.
I think the Batman Spirit was like the first thing they released from that. Oh man, good shit.
Yeah. I got into Darwyn Cooke through Parker, and then last year Anthony gifted me with New Frontier.
Oh hell yeah!
Just like I could read anything he draws. So
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Joey, I wanted to ask about, we didn't talk about this last time. You were part of the DC Writers Workshop.
Mm-hmm. I was.
So how was that? What kind of experience was that like?
It was cool. It was the last one that they did. So I don't know if we broke it. But no, I was.
You broke them, man. You broke them.
But here's the thing. I was in also in my group was Philip Kennedy Johnson, who obviously like is one of the nicest dudes you could ever meet, and obviously super talented.
Yeah.
And a lot of, Max Visaggio was in our group, and Ryan Cady, Sonia Anwar, and Robert Jeffries. And it was just like every week you meet, and Scott Snyder is like the instructor. And it was just like diving in deep on like the sort of, story and character and stuff. But what I found most valuable was sort of like the logistics of like being a freelancer, working in that sort of schedule and that sort of environment, rather than like getting an opportunity and then like eating shit when you aren't keeping up with like the deadlines, or like, maybe overstepping like your role and things like that. So it was really helpful to like get that sort of knowledge before really having the opportunity to write at one of those companies,
Nice.
And of course, like working with the DC characters for the first time was just a blast. So, it's like 10 weeks or something, and they would do different topics every week. And then there were sort of short projects along the way. So I think I wrote like a Superman spec, basically like a 6-issue Superman thing. And then I did a DC Bombshell story, which was a series they had at the time that was like World War II era Catwoman and Wonder Woman stuff. So it was cool. It was just like really insightful, and I thought a really great experience and idea to sort of create some sort of like farm system almost, to like get more and more voices on board. And I think it worked in some ways it didn't. But I'm very grateful to have been part of it.
What's an IP that you would love to like write for, Joey?
Power Rangers for sure.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Bill and Ted.
Would you do Mighty Morphin, or would you do like a different?
I feel like it would have to be Mighty Morphin.
Yes.
I just like I loved all the other stuff too, but those original 3 seasons or whatever is like,
that's what I grew up on.
Yeah, it's so full of. Speaking of toys, this other side of my office is like a Power Rangers shrine. So
that's awesome, man.
Nice.
I'm just a huge nerd over here.
Andrea, how about you? What would you want to draw for IP wise?
Yeah, is there any IP that you wish that you'd love to draw for one day?
Well, actually, I've been pestering Joey. If you ever get the chance to write Hal Jordan, just call me. So that really answers it. Green Lantern. I'm doing this. I'm talking to you guys, and I'm doing this job essentially because of Green Lantern. I really got into it in 2007.
Nice.
And I never stopped reading comics, never stopped drawing comics, never stopped thinking about doing comics. So in a way, that would be the fulfillment of a life's dream, if you will. And really, it doesn't get better. It couldn't possibly get better than that for me.
Nice.
Very cool.
I'm so interested because my dad's from a small town in Italy as well. And like, I can never imagine where he's from that there's a comic book scene at all. Like just where he's from is like very old school. Like the town like feels like it's still trapped in like post World War II. Like it's never changed in all the years I've been to. So like, how's the comic scene in Italy where you are? Like, is it healthy? Like, is it easy to get access to comics?
Well, yeah, to get access to comics, to actually read comics, it's pretty easy. I mean, comics as it is for you guys are sold actually in bookshops as well. And we've got also our own comic shops and our own comics chains, really. So selling comics, selling all the nerdy stuff that you would expect.
Nice.
It's gotten easier, that's for sure, in these past years, ever since I started reading and collecting comics in a way. So as a kid, I couldn't really get my hands on neither Marvel nor DC comics. They were sold at newsstands for the most part. And especially in the South where I live, comic shops weren't as easy to come by as they've become now. I mean, they opened one last summer here in my town, and it's just 5 minutes away from where I live. So it's like,
that's awesome.
Okay, now we're doing this. Fine, great. So I went, I met a guy. Hi, Andrea. I'm a comic book artist. I'm actually I do this for a job. It's my work, really. So yeah, it's gotten easier. And then again, if you want to read comics as I do in English, so in the original language, then the easiest bet is really getting them from the internet. I won't name drop anything, but yeah, it's really that route.
Gotcha. I'm
trying some additional routes, some alternative routes, because I don't know if I can say this, but fuck that particular guy. But yeah, I'm really trying to find an alternative way to your usual internet online buying comics thing, to really get them, because I just like reading, especially if it's a language I can actually speak. I like reading the voice of the writer that's been there, that's doing the job and that's doing the thing.
Nice.
So I'm sorry. I hope that was coherent.
No, that was a great answer.
Also, I'll say it. Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Don't be afraid to say that on this.
Thank you for saying it.
Andrea, I don't know if I've ever heard you say fuck before.
Come on. I write it all the time.
I was about to say, your guys' Shitkickers is filled with curses, dicks, everything.
So, Shitkickers is a mini series, 6 issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where is this like once the 6 issues? Is this like, are you done with the story in the Shitkickers universe? Do you want to just you feel like you got what you had to say out, and now you want to move on to a different project, or? I
mean, I know Andrea and I are talking about the project after this, which is not Shitkickers, but I would say that I think this world is something that we, every arc would be vastly different, especially where we end the series in number 6. Like the universe changed, so I think like moving forward with these characters, but like in a totally new environment or atmosphere would be really fun. So I'm down if Andrea is down.
I'm totally down. I'm not done with this.
All right. There, confirmed. There's your scoop. Shitkickers 2.
I mean, being the overthinker that I am, I already have some ideas that I'm gonna tell Joey about later after we do this. So yeah, we're totally doing more if we get the chance.
Can you guys give us any inside deets on your next project that you're working on together, or not yet?
I mean, it's very early, just sort of ideas that we're talking about, but it has to do with the little Martian man behind Andrea.
Nice.
We kind of want to do it's like a YA graphic novel. Sort of what if, I'm not going to say it because but
don't.
A YA sci-fi graphic novel is what we're working on.
Nice.
No, that's really cool. From Shitkickers to YA, that's cool that you do both. That's just, I don't think it's easy to do is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think that's just I think the most important. Sorry to wax poetic on this, but
wax.
I feel like the most important part of creative success.
So sentimental. So sentimental.
You know what, man? I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm going to write a book that's so not sentimental.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't remember what I was saying. It's not important.
Andrea, look what you did.
I'm sorry.
I remember. I was just going to say, I think creative success is just like being happy with what you're doing. And for me, just like trying a bunch of different stuff is really fulfilling. So that's like, the reason that I like to bounce around doing things like that.
That's awesome.
And I think Andrea's style he should be like one of the top paid illustrators on the planet, in my opinion.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
Why is where the money is what I'm saying.
Truly, I do think that like the art for Shitkickers it immediately grabbed me, and I'm a big fan of the art style.
Yeah,
me too. Look at him. There he is. He's shrinking again.
Now, come on. Credits where it's due. The art style looks as good as it is, thanks also to our colorist Sabrina and Lucas Gattoni, our letterer. So the art team on this really came together as me and Joey talked about the story and hammered pages down. And really, it was just me and him at the very beginning. But I brought Sabrina in because I knew her. She was a friend and a great illustrator, a children's book illustrator, actually. So it's a completely different line of work, but she really adapted extremely quickly. And yeah, Lucas, of course, is a big time letterer and professional. So we really are lucky to count him in. So the book, again, looks as good as it does, thanks to those guys just as much as me, really. And I don't want to be the only hero here. It's a team job. No, it's really a team job. I'm not saying it's with an intent of irony, really. I think that. Yeah,
I can't express enough, like, just seeing their work come together, how fulfilling it is. Just, you compare it to the script page and it's like, how did that come from this like bit document? You know what I mean? And it's just like,
I was going to ask, when you're writing it, like, do you have, whether it's notes for yourself or Andrea, what you would like the art to look like? Or did you just write and then give Andrea like carte blanche to take your words and make the paneling off of it?
I feel like if it's important for some reason, like story-wise, I'll mention something specific, or I don't know. I feel like I do like maybe he has a giant robot arm or whatever. And then, Andrea can interpret that however he feels like. But I feel like more often, like I've said this before, but my description for Dylan was just like he's never heard a guitar without distortion on. So like more like character vibes rather than physical descriptors. Although for Skiz, I said like a sloth alien, and it sort of evolves from there. Nice. I don't know. How do you feel, Andrea? Am I doing an okay job? Validation. Marginally okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. No, really. I mean, Joey gave me carte blanche with designs, but got into more detail only when it was absolutely necessary because he had a particular thing in mind. So I had to stick closer to a specific plot point or a specific story point. But beyond that, we've been working so closely together. We've been hearing from each other constantly to the point where really we are working on this together. At the same time, we're ironing kinks out. We're bunching ideas off each other. And the result, Shitkickers, the way it looks really is the brainchild of the both of us working this closely together. Is great to work with because of the freedom that he actually grants you as a writer. But at the same time, every decision that I made, every design that I came up with has really been vetted by him before I committed it to page.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I love working with you, dude.
Yeah, I really enjoyed these 2 issues. This was
Thanks, man.
a great start to the series. I definitely want to see more than 2 issues.
When can we expect issue 3?
Ooh, yeah.
So we're done through 5.
Nice.
And 6 is in progress. So the plan is sort of to do the Zoop for these first 2 issues. Issue 1 is available to read for free on Global Comics, so anyone can go there and check out the entire first issue. And if you like it, then come back and back us on Zoop. But so once the campaign is fulfilled, my plan is sort of to release issue 2 on Global Comics, and then I want to make sure that all the backers get their stuff first and foremost. But then launching a campaign for 3 and 4 and releasing those issues on Global Comics. So I'm hoping to sort of build like a self-sustaining loop almost of just like releasing a couple issues at a time, with some cool variant covers, and then doing it digital and then doing a new campaign. So all 6 issues should be out this year for sure.
Nice.
But I can't commit to like every month yet.
Yeah.
But it is going to be consistent, and I'm so proud and excited about that, because it's, as everyone here knows, that's hard to like do on your own. So I'm super proud of us for just going all in and seeing what we can do without some major support. So
do you have plans for a trade after the 6 issues too?
I think so.
Nice.
My hope would be that maybe a publisher is like, hey, this is pretty cool, and look, it's all done, let's put out a trade.
Nice.
But as we're aware, things are not great at the moment. So all that sort of business side of things seems a little up in the air to me. So that would be my hope, but failing that, we'll definitely find a way to get a collected edition for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Are you guys reading anything right now that you're really loving?
Oh man. Yeah, but don't mind me. I got to bring up my pull list so I can not ramble about it. Because I don't want to sound like an idiot.
Andrea, what about you? Are you reading anything?
Actually, yeah, I have my pile of comics here. So I've just gotten this, and it's Resident Alien. I'm currently reading the second trade.
Nice.
Love Everlasting by Tom King and Elsa Charretier.
Nice.
And Friday by Ed Brubaker and Marcus Fulton.
Dude,
I haven't started that one yet. I haven't started, but I'm so interested in that. I mean, I love Marcus Martin as an artist.
Yes.
And I was really hooked into this one by some preview pages that I saw, and a quick glance that I gave to these books at a con a couple of years ago, I believe. And I only recently got to buy issue 1. So I'm like, okay, now is the time. Let's read this. I mean, it's my kind of jam. So it's small town, young adult in a way, very mysterious. So yeah, I'm really excited to check that one out.
Yeah, I read all of Friday last year and absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's great to hear.
I just love Ed Brubaker too. Pretty much anything he writes, I'll read.
I haven't read that one yet, but I'm pumped. I similarly am a huge Brubaker fan. But one book that I just bring up my list to help me focus on that, FML, Kelly Sue DeConnick and David Lopez from Dark Horse.
Nice.
It's like, as I'm about to turn 40, the perfect middle-aged comic. So I'm really enjoying that. And I've also been rereading the Alan Moore, Stephen Bissett Swamp Thing that I'm about to wrap up, which has been a blast. What else? Oh, speaking of our pal Philip Kennedy Johnson, I've been reading Hellhunters from Marvel, which is like a World War II series with like the 1940s Ghost Rider, who's like like a U.S. Army, like Sergeant Rock if he was Ghost Rider kind of vibe. And with art by Adam Gorham, and it's fucking rad. So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Well, guys, this was a great talk. It's fun time.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. This was a blast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, anytime. Seriously, next time you guys, when you finish Shitkickers, you guys should come back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll continue to pass along the issues as we got them.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And thank you guys so much for taking the time. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate you guys. It was great meeting you, Andrea, and Joey. Always a pleasure to see you, bud.
You too.
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jake F.H.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics and Chronic. That's Comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.